Okay, we're live, we're ready, we're roaring to go. Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Tonight, after tonight is over, we have reached the halfway point of RPL's Season 8. Halfway, round 11 of 22. We are good to go in Austria for tonight. As usual, I am your host, Ironwolf, on deck. Layton should be joining momentarily, but looking at our group, we'll just take a note of two individuals. Driver number one I have highlighted, Jacob, and then driver number two, Boss Cookie. These two drivers have quali bans to serve tonight, and these two they're allowed to do an outlap, but they must return to the pit and retire to complete the event, to complete their quali ban. We have 19 drivers on deck for tonight. The only driver missing is the second Aston Martin, which would have been filled by Cookie, but Cookie is in for Blonde, who is not here. So, here we go. So here is our roster for today. So, the Chiller and Boss Cookie make up Mercedes. We have the power couple. We have one of the power couples of Reese and Scyther in the Red Bull. The climactic couple of TB and Jacob in the Ferrari. Newcomer Alex Fox Johnson, who debuted last week, is in McLaren, and he's got Beatnik for company. Wavy and Marco working together in Williams. And speaking of Wavy, after tonight is over, Wavy will no longer be the team principal of Mercedes Academy. That job being held by Groggers. Kiernan, at the moment, going solo in Aston Martin unless a teammate comes in. Tadpole and Fanflo in for AlphaTauri. Redfire Tiger returns to action in Alpine, and he's got Luke for company. Corey Marshall back after being involved in a car wreck, which had him miss a few races. He's back with Cryptic in Alfa Romeo. And then Sam Steed and Martin make up for Haas. As you can see, looking on the left side, our first sprint of the RPL season is live tonight as well. So we are going to have a short qualifying session of 18 minutes long, a sprint race of 12 laps, and then the main race being 36. So, this is gonna be interesting to say the least. So, Boss Cookie and Jacob, they're allowed an outlap, but they must return back to the pits and retire to complete their quali bans. Now, there's only one event note in the event today. The pit lane entry line. Drivers that enter it must stay within keep half their car within that white line. If they fail to do so on the arrival up, then they will receive a 5-second penalty. Corey just got thrown out, so we gotta get him back in. Stand by for 2 seconds. There we go. He's back in action. Now, Last week at Silverstone, the race was won by Scyther with a good victory over his teammate Reese, and Cryptic wound up finishing in third to get a podium back there. In the Drivers' Championship, though, the lead has shrunk down. TB after round 9 had a 43-point lead over second, but now it is down to 34 over Scyther. And Jacob, missing out last week in Silverstone, he will fall to third. In the Constructors' Championship, also, the gap between Ferrari and Red Bull have closed by 19 points. Ferrari still has the lead with 301 to Red Bull's 262, and Mercedes sits in third with 158. And there's my partner, he is here. There's audio included, so he will be able to chat it up in the stream. So Layton, one of the quickest tracks on the calendar, Austria. This is going to be an interesting race. It's a sprint race too.
Yeah, I've just been told that the sprint race is wet, and a part of the main race is wet as well. So looks like that's going to be fun.
Oh boy. Fun times. So two drivers, crazily enough, will be starting at the back of the field. Boss Cookie serving his quali band, and Jacob serving his quali band. Boss Cookie is actually coming out to do his out lap to get a reconnaissance of the track. Jacob will probably be doing the same thing. But the nice thing is with the sprint, nice part is that even though you'll be those two with Boss Cookie and Jacob, they'll be starting 18th and 19th. As the sprint race is over, they could potentially be maybe higher up after the sprint is over.
Yeah, the race around Austria is very, very fun. It's mainly a DRS train. The cars around here aren't exactly massively separated. The track is only about 9-10 corners, so it's not really a long track with 3 DRS zones all back to back. So yeah, it's going to be a very fun race, and the Ferrari will definitely be the quickest car around here.
Well, just gotta have to cut you off for a second, but Boss Cookie has ignored his quali ban. He is on a timed lap.
If he backs out, then he'll be fine. As long as he backs out, he'll be fine. That's if he backs out. Backs out, then he's okay. But if he finishes it, then he's not.
Well, Jacob has gone back into the pits, so he's done his out lap to serve his. So he has successfully served his penalty. Alex Fox just set the benchmark with a 5.095. Kiernan up in the 4th. Sam Steed slowest right now. Beatnik in 3rd, and TB up in the 2nd. Pushing Cryptic to 3rd. Oh, I hate to say it, but Boss Cookie, he's going to complete the time lap.
And that is in 2 polygons in a row?
I believe if you ignore your quali ban, you get a weekend ban for the next race. So,
I mean, he invalidated his time on purpose, so...
Well, he did do a lap. He did do a lap and basically ignored it.
He did invalidate it on purpose.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's up to the stewards to figure out what to do in that regard. But just caught Corey Marshall go for a spin in turn number 4. And Lucas just gone fastest. Just a hair above a 5 flat. And Fanflow sitting in 7th with a 5.659. More cars coming out to get some runs in. Corey is probably going to have to restart his lap. Yep, he's just going to start his new lap now. Here comes Scyther across the line, and he puts it 2nd. So, maybe a slight error in one of the sectors, but Scyther just a hair behind Luke.
and Luke said as long as he didn't set a time, he was ready.
Oh. Reese actually has set the fastest lap now. With a 4 second. So good on him. Let me just double check, just to be sure on something. Well, if Luke said that, so Luke said if he didn't set a time lap, then he's fine. Rulebook says different. Under driver rulebook 1.1, drivers who have received a quality ban must not set a valid or invalid timed lap.
I think he'll go with it even with that rule. I don't think.
Let me double check.
I don't think it's that much of an issue. He has followed the rules when he did get caught, so I don't think it's too much of an issue. But yeah, he did apologise. He said he didn't know, so
yeah. Well, to be fair, he was pinged before the lobby was opened. Spinnerella just goes 13th.
he tried to
so
lobby
that
late
means just...
and then he wasn't really talking. So sometimes drivers don't always check the chats that they're pinged and they normally leave it. So he'll be fine.
That's possible, but I mean, it's probably going to be up to the stewards depending on what will happen on that. But anyway, so only 3 drivers have yet to set a lap in this short quality session. Tadpole is actually back on the circuit. Wavy in the Williams and the Chiller in the Mercedes. Tadpole, after finishing off a successful time in Tier 2, completing it last night in Yas Marina. He is now finishing off the rest of the F1 season in the AlphaTauri. So I wonder if the championship streak that Tadpole had in Tier 2, I wonder if he'll ride those coattails to a good second half of the season here in F1.
I think we'll have to keep notes on talking about with the pit entry when we're making pit stops.
You broke up just slightly. What did you say?
It's going to be certain that we're going to have to watch out for is people when people make pit stops or go into the pits in qualifying to make sure they don't go over that white line, as
Yes.
it has been mentioned to the drivers.
That is correct. Tadpole out on his time lap. Wavy and the Chiller are back out. So is Sam Steed, Revfire, and Scyther. Scyther is the fastest of the group with a 6:56. Let's see what he is capable of. Wondering what kind of a lap he'll have. I'm gonna say somewhere in the top 10 he'll be. Somewhere. As he comes flying across the line. He's right in there. 9th fastest. For the time being. Joe is just starting his lap now. Here comes Corey to finish off his run. And he was 15th prior. He's still 15th. So he's improved, but not much. TB, here he comes across the line. And he just improved, but he still stays 5th fastest. So Ferrari showing a little bit of a struggle here at this track.
Yeah, the Fire Tigers went for another lap here. It is short qualifying. I just remembered that it's not in fact full qualifying. So one driver that's actually impressing at the moment is Alex Fox Johnson. He's in P3 at the moment for a McLaren, and he's performing well. So that he'll definitely be the driver to look out for. Uh,
Absolutely. I mean, last week he debuted in Silverstone. I believe, if my memory's right, he got himself into Q3 on his debut. Unfortunately, it did not result in any points because he was involved in an incident towards the start of the race. But looks like Reese is heading back. He's called off his lap. But right now, with just over 6 minutes to go, it is a Red Bull front row for right now. And it is a McLaren in third and a Mercedes in fourth. And TB just got shoved down to seventh. It is an Alpine row 3 right now for the sprint. Speaking of the sprint, only the top 8 will receive points. The winner getting 8 points, obviously. All the way down to 8th place, getting 1. There is no fastest lap in the sprint. And then on the main race, basically wherever you finish in the sprint is where you'll be for the main race. So let's take Red Fire for example. He starts in like P7 for the sprint, has an incident, and he finishes the race in P14. In the main race, that's where he will start. So with a sprint race, for some of these guys, if they have bad qualifying runs, they could easily try to gain a lot of ground to get a better position in the main race. But with some, Scyther just goes even faster. Goes to almost 2/10 clear of Reese. I mean, with some of these guys, what their hopes is to have a good sprint session and just start high up in the field.
Yeah, Cypher's recently just got a new wheel. He was on the Logitech and he's recently moved to a Fanatec, which is a big improvement, as it is 2 different wheel types and 2 different companies. So Cypher's still getting used to his new wheel, so he won't be fully up to speed, but he'll definitely be still competitive like he always is. But one driver that is very, very questionable at the moment is TB. He's got Cryptic behind him in the Alfa Romeo. He does have a gap to the rest of the field, but I don't think he wants to be behind these guys. Even though we have a sprint race, it's still important to start at the front because you can easily be involved in an accident. You can even drop even lower for the main race, depending on if you do get caught in a crash. So that's one thing that you don't want to do, and I don't think TB actually wants to do that. So he's definitely going to have to find some time in this final lap, as Sam Steed is getting ready to go, and these drivers will be putting on a new fresh set of tyres, going out and setting their final lap for short qualifying here in Austria.
Absolutely, and as mentioned earlier in the stream, TB and Jacob being the climactic collision couple. Jacob is actually towards the back of the field, so in TB's case, he'll have a bit of a relief that his rival teammate is not going to be anywhere near him, but in another sense, maybe he would hope that if Jacob didn't have a pulling hand, maybe his teammate would be nearby to possibly help him progress further, but I digress. Those two are still not seeing eye to eye after their collision almost 2 months ago in Portugal.
Yeah, we normally see these type of things between teammates, especially 2 teammates that are in a top seat that can easily fight for a championship. It's definitely you'd think they got over it by now. you'd think they would act like big boys and pull up their pants and just act like men, but no. Yeah, it's something that maybe needs to be talked about the team over there. Both need to reassure each other that it's not going to happen again, and that they both need to work together from now on because a serious threat is Red Bull in the constructors. Both their drivers performing well this season, and if if the Ferrari drivers still don't get along, it's not going to work well for them in the constructors. And the constructors is where it's all about in this league. Drivers is still important, but the team principles that we have, the constructors, is 100% more important for them. So yeah, it's something that will be needed to talk about. But if they do have another incident, I doubt these two will ever work together ever again.
Completely agree with you on that sense. That before the whole fighting happened between the two, they had a little scuff before Portugal, and they had two different ideals. TB is mainly pushing for a driver's championship, and Jacob was solely his sole purpose was to actually help Ferrari go for a constructors. But after Portimao, they have both decided that now they're going to go for a driver's championship as Cryptic just shoves his way into P6. With only 30 seconds to go, TB is going to really need to pull something out in order to get himself further up in the field. So he's going into turn number 6 now. He's over 3/10 up in Sector 2. So that is going to put him right ahead of Alex Fox for the time being. As more cars are coming across, and Scyther, wowee, almost into the 1 minute 3s.
And TB's going to be the final driver to cross the line. And he goes up to second, so he splits both of the Red Bulls, and there we go. That is the lap time that he wanted. Alex is 1:10 up. If he can have a rocket ship of the last sector, we could see him go ahead of Reece Dainty, but Reece Dainty will have to go again, even if he doesn't have the ERS, because at this rate, he could get knocked down even lower. And Alex did improve in that last sector. He had a very good last sector.
Same with Beatnik, he improved, but didn't go any further. Haas's have pulled in. Cryptic has gone in. Who's next to cross? It's going to be Red Fire. He is sitting in 8th at the moment. Only goes to 7th. Pushes Cryptic down. Here comes Luke to come across the line. He goes to 5th. Pushes the Chiller down. Now I just only have a few more left. As Corey Marshall is going to be next up. As he's going to come across. He's 12th. Invalidates. That sucks. But now Fanflow's up now, and he's got a bad lap, so that's it. So Scyther claims pole position for the sprint race. So a 4.017 for Scyther. Chance was there to possibly see if he could get into the 3s, but just not there. So now we'll be moving on into the sprint race, and this is where things will get interesting. But here is the grid for our sprint. So front row, Scyther and TB. Reese and Alex Fox makes up row 2. Luke to Chiller make up row 3. Row 4 being Redfire and Cryptic. Beatnik Tadpole being row 5. Fanflow Corey 6. Kiernan and Pinarello, aka Martin, row 7. Samsteed Marco in row 8. Wavy and Boss Cookie being in row 9. And Jacob will be bringing up the rear for the sprint race. And hard to believe. I mean, literally, top 8 separated by about a second. So, not a bad run there. So now we'll be moving on into the sprint race itself, meaning everybody's going to be on one particular set of tires. If I had to take a wild guess, I'm probably going to safely say everybody's going to be on a medium set. Possibly, because I don't know if they'll be able to go 12-ish laps on a set of softs. And yes, it is. That is confirmed. Everybody is on the mediums. So here we go. Race session has started, and we are ready to go. Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting turn of events. As Layton said, there's going to be mixed conditions in the sprint race and in the main race itself. So this should be interesting, to say the least. But the 5 lights are coming on for the sprint race of Austria RPL. As lights out and away we go. Good reaction time for TB, but Reese gets ahead of TB into turn number 1. But TB's trying to fight back. And look, we got someone around. That is Cryptic on for a spin. That's not good for him. But as they head up into turn number 3, here comes Luke looking to sneak a peek on TV, but can't seem to get it done. Looks like Alex got a poor exit in turn 3. Looks like another car just gone wide. That's Beatnik that went wide. What a crazy event so far, turning into the first few corners, as people are just eyeballing and wonking around, as the Chiller clears Alex Fox to get into P6. No, maybe not. Alex Fox fights back. What a good reactor there, and looks like Red Fires has problems. Fires got posed. Uh-oh, there they go. Damn it, the Chiller go for a spin. I'm not sure what the heck happened there.
Red Fire Tiger.
Did he cut across the...
No, so he let Alex pass, had no speed on the apex. The Chiller went around the outside, and yeah, they made contact.
He wasn't paying attention.
It's a stupid mistake from the Chiller, letting up, not the Chiller, Red Fire, letting your teammate pass in a section that you shouldn't have, and then causing an incident. So yeah, that's probably one of the Stewards maybe look at as Red Fire Tiger's fault. As Beatnik and Jacob are actually fighting, and Jacob's up to P10, and Boss Cookie's all the way up to P8 now from 18th and 19th, respectfully. So that's good for them. But one driver that hasn't had a good start is Reese. Into turn 1 he got a good start, but TB had the traction, and then up into turn 2, I think it was Alex or Luke that tapped the back of TB. TB had to go wide, forcing Reese wide, and then it made him drop a position to Luke, which is not going to be good because these two have always been on track together, Luke and Reese, and they never seem to separate.
Yeah, actually, it was Luke that did try to sneak a peek on the TB, and yeah, Reese did come up short out of it in turn 3, losing it to there, as Boss Cookie just overtakes Corey to put himself into P7. DRS is active and available, and right now your top 10 it is Scyther, TB, Luke, Reese, Alex, Kiernan, Boss Cookie, Corey, Fanflow, and Jacob making up the top 10. But the last points position in the sprint race right now sits on Corey right now, as cars are starting to fiddle out, and it looks like Wavy has gone for a spin out of turn 3. And Jacob clears Fanflow to get himself into P9. So far, Jacob has gained 10 positions from the start. Boss Cookie has gained 11 so far in this sprint.
Yeah, Cookie on the back
12 as he is gaining on Kieran.
Yeah, catching Kieran at fast rates or not. Luke's very close to losing DRS here. He'll have to burn a bit of DRS to stay in that inside, but DRS is Cypher's actually. I wouldn't say he's trying to pull out a DRS, but he's definitely got the pace to do it. As TB just can't seem to stay with him. So yeah, he's top 4, always in a second, as there we go, Boss Cookie overtakes Kieran with the DRS, and Jacob overtakes Corey with the DRS as well, as Corey just lets him passed into the entry. So there we go. The question is, can Kieran help out Cookie? Because obviously these two are part of the Merc Academy, Jacob part of the Ferrari Academy, so I'm sure there'll be some orders maybe there happening. As it looks like Luke is about to lose DRS, and Reese just needs to pull that pace a little bit in that Red Bull if he wants any chance of staying with Cypher and TB here.
TB is actually staying stagnant with Scyther. Gap between those two about half a second, and that gap is just staying still, just about. As we go right back to Jacob as he's trying to keep on point with Kiernan, but Kiernan still having DRS as Reese has successfully passed Luke, put himself into P3. Jacob is gonna have to see, maybe he might. Well, he's not gonna be close enough to go for a send in the turn number 3. He'll have to wait, see if Kiernan will be losing out of DRS for the time being. But Reese, after he cleared Luke, he's got a 2-second gap to TB, and TB is going to try to get a little more separation to try to catch Scyther. But maybe Scyther will probably try to give TB a bit of a headache and help his teammate close the gap.
Yeah, I think at the moment I don't think Cypher needs to hold up TB. I don't think TB has the overall pace to stay with Cypher, and I don't think these two want to be involved in an incident that could drop them down even more. Luke did let pass Reese. I think Luke just knows that James is a lot quicker than him and just let him go. But yeah, it's like Florian just can't seem to catch Jacob here, and it looks like Kieran will fight this. Even though he is in an Aston Martin, he will fight this. So that's good for him, and this actually helps all the guys behind him. And it looks like Jacob's going to go for a send here, and it doesn't seem to work out. So this helps Cookie, who's on a charge to try and get into that top 5 after starting all the way down in 18th.
Bear in mind, Kiernan is. I was actually wrong. Kiernan is off. Oh, we got trouble. Marco.
Central safety car. There, safety car.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this is gonna change things.
Kieran actually comes into
Who
pitch,
is?
yeah.
It looks like Kiernan has decided is going in.
Yeah, he probably feels that he'd be better on the soft compared to the medium compound tyre.
Let's take a look, see as he is in. Nope, he's going for another set of softs. And Cryptic is actually in as well. Cryptic is in, and same with the Chiller. Yeah, so Marco goes for a spin and crashes out in turn number 4. That brings out our first safety car of the event. But yeah, so very unfortunate for Marco. So that means he is going to be starting in P19 for the main race itself. Just take a look at our group here. So our top 10, when they catch the safety car, it is going to be Scyther leading, ahead of TB. Reese is sitting in third. Luke 4, Alex Fox 5th, Boss Cookie in 6th, Jacob in 7th, Fanflo 8, Beatnik in 9, and Corey Marshall rounds out the top 10. Fanflo actually has the final points paying position. And, well, I'll just say safely for this, Boss Cookie and Jacob, they are now looking at points for this sprint race, but these two have gained 12 positions from the start of this Grand Prix. So it's very good for those two to start basically from the back of the field because of quali bans, and they have gone up into 6th and 7th. Looks like the Chiller has gotten into the penalty club again. This is his second time because he did get in there prior. So, unfortunately, the Chiller, for one Mercedes, their race is just not going their way. And that just stems from the Chiller having contact with red fire on the opening lap.
Yeah, this is
Stewards have taken note of it.
for the Chiller as he can climb back into this race. This year, assisted red more that he's in 13th. But I do believe Chiller pitted. Yes, he did fit for a set car.
Yeah, Kieran, Cryptic, the Chiller, and Wavy have all pitted for a new set of sauce. Kieran was actually started on sauce. He is on another set of sauce. So, I mean, there is no fastest lap point, but I mean, getting a fastest lap in a sprint is just a little bit of a bragging right, saying, "Hey, I'm fastest in there," but there's no point. There's no point in that one. It's just your main points. You get 8 for the win, 7 second, 6 for third, 5 for fourth, 4 for fifth, 3 for sixth, 2 for seventh, and 1 point for eighth place. And that top 8 is Scyther, TB, Reese, Luke, Alex Fox, Boss Cookie, Jacob, and Fenflo. And I mean, I'll be straight up honest. Alex Fox has actually been impressing so far. He's had a really good qualifying. He had a really good qualifying last week in Silverstone. He had a good qualifying today. He's hanging out. He's hanging still in 5th place, which is 4 points. The safety car is in, so Scyther is in control of the field. Once we get underway, we will have 3 laps to go in this sprint race. Now, the question falls onto TB. Can he react quick enough to Scyther? And he is taken off before the penultimate corner. And TB stays sort of close. But we're backing away in the sprint here in Austria. And Scyther has a nice just about half-second gap over TB. And Reese actually benefited slightly from that restart. He was right up close and personal with TB. That could be a good fight for 2nd place.
Yeah, I don't think Reese is going to risk it here. There's no reason to risk it. Even though he'd like it to finish a 1-2, I don't think it's going to finish 1-2 as Red Fire Tiger's been involved in another incident. Once again,
looks like he's got some Steve with him. Luke is actually trying to fight. Oh, this Luke saw the shot, tried to go for it, backs off.
There's Alex.
Yeah.
Oh
my. Oh! Alex Fox is around. Yeah, Alex Fox, it just goes wrong. Oh my.
Look at the 2 drivers that capitalized on this. Cookie and Jacob.
Yeah. Jacob up in the 4th. Jacob in 5th. Boss Cookie in the 4th. These guys have gained 14 positions now.
And it looks like the Chiller and Pinarello both made contact, and Pinarello's gone wide. And look at Wavy here. Wavy's getting involved in this little fight here between Cryptic and the Chiller.
It does look it, to say the least, and Jacob is moving back forward up to Jacob, and Jacob goes spinning!
That's his race over.
That is super unfortunate. Was looking for a 5th place, and it just goes wrong out of turn 4. That is just super unfortunate. And that's actually going to be nice to Red Bull, because they'll gain even further ground on Ferrari in the Constructors.
Yeah, all that work that Jacob made up, he's just not going to work out for him. And that's just cost him heavily. And I don't think Wavy's going to let him go either, so he's going to have to get ahead of these guys if he wants any chance of making any progress in the main race. Because these guys will take it easy in the sprint, but in the main race they won't. So Jacob's gonna have to make a lot more effort if he can't get ahead of Wavy or Critical, even the Chile, in fact, because it's 3 positions right in front of him. But he'll need to get ahead as Corey and Beanick are fighting here for P7. That's 2 points, and it looks like Corey's got ahead of him. And it looks like Jacob just can't seem to get ahead of Wavy. Wavy will fight this because he's the type of driver that doesn't give up. And it looks like he's going to send Jacob on the inside, and Jacob goes to the inside. Oh, and the contact's ahead, and Critic makes a mistake. And Wavy just can't go on throttle early. Jacob's actually going to get let past by Wavy here. Not Wavy, Critic. And Wavy's going to look through on Critic, and he can't get ahead. So Jacob technically only gained 1 place there because his academy let him through as Sam Steed has gone for another spin, and it's just not his day. But Scyther wins.
So Scyther has won the sprint. TB claims second. Reese for third. And Boss Cookie gains 14 positions to claim P4. Luke will be settling for 5th. Van Float in 6th. Corey Marshall going to be in 7th. And Beatnik will claim the final point for the sprint. Unfortunately, Jacob is going to be starting back in 11th for the main race, so that's going to really suck. And Boss Cookie driver today for the sprint. Yeah, no doubt that's a definite. As I mean, literally, the guy gained 14 positions in 12 laps. So there it is. There's your points counter there. Scyther, TB, Reese, Boss Cookie, Luke, Fanflow, Corey, and Beatnik. Those are the points positions for them. So good work for those guys. And there's the group there. So this is going to be the grid for the main race itself. So Scyther and TB front row, Reese and Boss Cookie row 2, Luke and Fanflow will make up row 3, Corey, Beatnik row 4, Tadpole Kieran row 5, Jacob Cryptic row 6, Wavy Alex Fox in row 7, The Chiller and Pinarello in row 8, Redfire and Sam Steed make up row 9, and Marco will be starting at the back of the field. And the overcast skies are out on deck. I wonder what they say when the rain is going to be hitting. But it just bears the question on who will be going on to what tires for this set of the event. Let's take a look at the tire setup now, but it'll probably be changing. Right now, we got Marco, Wavy, Jacob on the hard compound tire, Beatnik, Pinarello, and Sam Steed risking it for risking it on the sauce. Everyone else is going to be on the mediums. Okay.
I just
of
have
course
a glitch here, so I'm gonna have to join back.
Yeah, I'm glitched too because the freaking race results are blocking my entry to the screen.
Yeah, that's fine.
But we're on lights out. Another way we go in the sprint. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get back into this because this thing is just stuck because I'm trying to catch the thing and it just goes, yeah, we'll just show you all this stuff instead. So bear with us for a sec. We're gonna try to get back into this. I'm just coming back. God dang it. So we're probably missing like the opening lap or so. But yeah, stupid things
One
just
thing I
being
can tell you is
stupid.
it started raining here on lap 1.
No
And
kidding, the
Kieran's
rain
gone
has
round,
started already.
Beatnik's gone round, Corey's pitted, and Marco's pitted. And I think some of those drivers are actually going to go on to Inters here. We'll see what Corey does here. We'll see what tyre he selects. And these drivers, they're going on to the intermediate compound tyre. So this is going to be questionable for Red Bull because they have 2 drivers in the top. As Tadpole is gone spinning by a red fire tiger there, as Jacob's in P10, and him and Dechilla are fighting, and Jacob forces Dechilla onto the grass, and that's not good for Dechilla. As Dechilla goes round the outside of Jacob, and Jacob just can't seem to fight it, and there we go. Dechilla is all the way up into the top 10, but Jacob just has that Red Bull not the Red Bull straight line speed, the Ferrari straight line speed, and he's just got ahead. But the question is, which Red Bull pits first? Which Ferrari pits first? Who in the top 5 pits first? Because their tyres are surely going to go off as Florian made a mistake here, and he actually started on the hard compound tyre compared to the mediums as Tadpole has pitted here. He's going to go onto the intermediates. How about the Ferrari duo?
Still active for now. Oh, we got trouble. That's Cryptic. Looks like Cryptic got a slight spin. Falls down to 11th. Chiller now on to Pinarello to go for 8th place. And Pinarello just got another penalty. He joined the 3-second penalty club for track limits, and then just got a 5-second for corner cutting and gaining a position. Apparently, so he got an illegal overtake, didn't return position back, and now got a 5-second penalty because of it. Rain is just drizzling for right now, so it's gonna be a while for the. Looks like it's gonna be a while for the track to get completely wet enough for the inters to play into effect. But for right now, the top 10 it is Scyther, TB, Reese, Cookie, Luke, Fanflo, Alex Fox, Chiller, Pinarello, and Red Fire. And Pinarello has actually gone for a spin in turn 1 as Wavy and Jacob are in the pits. And Jacob actually had him to fix some wing damage that he's got. And he's onto a set of mediums, so not quite ready for the inter conditions yet. Well, Jacob having the race go really wrong. Went wrong in the sprint, and it's gone even further wrong in the main race so far.
Yeah, Cyphers actually started on the soft compounded tyre. I don't know if he did that on purpose, but he's going to struggle. As Reese Dainty is in fact inside the DRS, and we got a spinner, and it looks like Pinarello has gone round again. But the thing is, Dainty needs to get ahead of TB before TB gets inside the DRS Cypher, because that's not going to help him. So if anything, Reese needs to push here and get ahead of TB.
So far, TB is not in that DRS as of yet, but he is trying his best Reese is trying his best to try to reel in TB to try to make it happen, but had a little slip on the exit of turn 3. But Reese still staying in 3rd place right now, and Luke is looking to eyeball Cookie for 4th. And the Chiller being bowed by Alex Fox, and contact between the two. The Chiller goes off, and the Chiller's still locked on. Just these two had their wheels locked together. As the Chiller is still fighting Alex Fox to try to get himself into there, and there goes the Chiller into a spin. Contact between him and Alex Fox, and the Chiller now falls all the way down to P12. So the Chiller back into the bad luck streak. It was a McLaren that got him in the sprint. Now a McLaren gets him in the main race. So Alpine Academy is starting to become the Chiller's weak point.
Yeah, one thing that has happened at the front is TB has got inside the DRS of Cypher, but the track just doesn't seem to be good enough for the intermediate compound tyre. The track is just not there, and it looks like the first driver that might be lapped here is in fact Pinarello, as he's all the way 19th and he's just struggling on the inters. So depending on if he pits or not, he could be lapped, but yeah, the day's not good for Jacob here, as he's 40 seconds off the leaders, so his race is pretty much over for a top 5 finish unless we get a safety car here. As Reese actually comes into the pits here.
Yes, he has.
I don't know if he was on board with him, but I'm very, very happy he wasn't, if he wasn't.
Oh, he is in, and so is Fanflow. Fanflow is in. DRS is now disabled, so the interconditions are going to be coming in for these drivers. And looks like Sam Steed has also decided to pit. But everybody else for right now, we'll see what the back half is going to be doing. But these guys are staying out for another lap or so. Looks like Jacob... No, not Jacob. Jacob's not coming in. Let's take a look. Wavy's on inters, Marco inter, same with, yeah, everybody behind Jacob are on inters. Jacob is the last guy on the main run of tires. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Tadpole's in the penalty club now. Even though the inters are out on some of these drivers, it's not firing up. It's not firing up yet.
Just stayed out.
Boss Cookie in. Luke stayed out. Sam Steed's on the inters, by the way, and Jacob, in the span of half a lap, has gained over 2 seconds on Sam Steed. So I'm guessing the inters might not be firing up just yet.
The RS is disabled, so that does raise some questions, as looks like TB does get out ahead, so that is not good for him. That's not good for Reese, and he's actually got Cookie behind him. So it looks like Reese is just not doing good, and we've got another spinner, and it's Pinarello once again, and he's about to be lapped here on lap 7, and there we go, he's lapped. So that's him out of the race, and Jacob actually gets ahead of Beatnik, who pits for the intermediate compound tyre, but it looks like Beatnik is going to try and fight this back here, and we'll see which tyre compound is the best on traction, and it looks like the Inters are the better tyre now, as Jacob is struggling, and the fact that he stayed out, he's going to struggle even more as Beatnik goes down the inside of Jacob. Jacob tries to hang it around the outside, and it does work for him, but the Inters will have the better tyre. As Pinarello comes into the pits on the tyres, Luke stays out, Alex stays out, and Cryptic in fact stays out. So the question is, where does Cryptic come out ahead of Cypher here? Because this is going to be close, and this is going to raise the question.
Indeed.
What will Cryptic do? Will he send
just
it?
Gets right ahead.
No, Cryptic's actually behind him, which I'm sure that Cryptic would have wanted to get ahead of him, so then he could have held him up. But he's going to let his teammate go here. He's going to let TB go, and it looks like he might hold up Reese, depending on if he stays out. But yeah, Jacob's day just gets bad for worse. He stayed out in the medium compound tyre, and he's finally pit, and he's actually dropped to last, pretty much. So it's just not his day. As Kieran and Marco are fighting, Corey and Kieran are fighting, so it looks like we've got a three-way fight for P13 here. And maybe Kieran does the double send, and Kieran does look for it, but he doesn't send it, but he does send it, and Corey tries to go for the switch path, and he can't get it done, and Corey stays ahead of Kieran, and Marco stays ahead of both of these, and look at Kieran here, he's coming back at Corey. Corey looks to defend the inside, he can't defend the inside. There we go, as Alex finally pits, and Luke is staying out here. Who thinks it's good enough? And maybe it is, you never know.
A gap between Luke and Scyther sitting right now is about 11 seconds. And that gap is still slowly, it's slowly falling, but it's actually staying slightly constant. But we'll have to wait and see further on. But by the looks of it, I mean, even if Luke pits, he's gonna come out just about like right around with the two Mercedes of Cookie and the Chiller. That's where he will come out when he does eventually pit. Question is when will that be? And he's still staying out as Reese gets past Cryptic into turn 7 and takes 4th place. Cryptic is also a driver that stayed out on those dry medium tires, and he is now finally coming in. Boss Cookie goes ahead of him to take 5th. So that leaves only Luke still out on the circuit right now. Reese just gets into the penalty club.
Yeah, Reese, the driver that doesn't really join the penalty club, has actually joined it here. So we've seen in previous seasons, well, since Reese has actually started here, Reese always struggles in wet conditions. He never really does well in them. He said it before. He's going to struggle, and it looks like we're about to see that. But he doesn't want to drop behind Cookie because the constructors are on the line here. Jacob being all the way in last place, and TB being 3rd. And if Cypher wins, this could be a very good result for Red Bull if they want to get even closer to Ferrari and the constructors. And it looks like Mercedes are just not doing it these past few races where they can fight for it either. So it does look like it's between Mercedes, I meant Red Bull and Ferrari, and it looks like TB's actually gained on Cypher here. And maybe Cypher doesn't have a wet setup compared to TB. And it looks like TB is more comfortable in the wet compared to Cypher. So we've seen these two come together on track. We've seen it so many times in past seasons. And we could see it here today defending. So no matter what happens, these two are very good drivers and they respect each other. And these two will definitely be fighting for the championship until the end.
Absolutely. And things are actually going to be changing up for next season, because with these two that are fighting off, looking at it for next season, TB is going to Mercedes next season, while Scyther will be moving on into Ferrari. And speaking of the contracts for next season, only 2 new changes happened so far for next season in F1. The driver that's sitting in 8th place right now, Red Fire, he is going to be going to McLaren. Beatnik, by the way, who's sitting in 9th, had his season 16 F2 contract and his F1 season 9 contract canceled. And he's just, and apparently three team principal, from what I've heard, apparently the other academies are all vying for a chance to ask Beatnik to join their academy. And then the last change, the guy in P7, Fanflow, was slated to go to Red Bull Tier 2 next season, has been moved down to AlphaTauri in Tier 2, but that was because of the announcement that Fanflow is going to Alfa Romeo next season.
Yeah, I don't know what academies have asked Beatnik, but we're definitely not one of them. I've asked him so many times if he wants to join, and you know what? If the only seat he wants is the Red Bull, I might as well give it him at this point. But yeah, the reason behind Fanflow getting dropped off ferry is we give him the seat that he wanted, the seat that he asked for. We gave it him, and if he got top 2 in the drivers, then we won the constructors in Tier 2 that season, then he would have in fact had an AlphaTauri seat for the F1 season, for next F1 season. So yeah, the reason for him getting dropped to AlphaTauri is just the fact that he's going to Ferrari Academy once the Tier 2 season's over. So we have no reason to put him in the Red Bull if he's just going to leave us, when we could rather give it someone else that maybe can do better, but at the same time not leave and go to a different academy once that top seat contract's over.
Fair enough. Speaking about what next season, as TV is still trying to keep tabs on Scyther, but doesn't seem to be getting much of the ground that he was hoping for. The Chiller in pursuit of Beatnik for P9. And speaking about with next season, since you were mentioning Tier 2 next season, your Tier 2 roster next season, you got Stenner and Fanflo in AlphaTauri, and in Red Bull, you got Jacksta and Lewis Piper. Jacksta, we know his pace. He came to finishing on track P2 in Canada a couple weeks ago. But Lewis Piper, so that's an interesting combination for Red Bull for Tier 2 next season.
Yeah, Jacksta's a race winning driver. He's shown he has the pace to win. He's shown he's capable of helping his team, and he can help them push for constructors. For the second Red Bull seat, we felt Lewis Piper would be best fit just because of his pace and just because of what he's achieved in other leagues. Obviously, with Tier 2 starting next week, that could change. None of the lineups are 100% confirmed. None of them are 100%. Anything can change. For all I know, Senna could be in the Red Bull for next week. But yeah, for right now, that is the lineup. And I don't think it'll change, but maybe. Just depends.
That, and while you were mentioning that, the Chiller got clear of Beatnik to take P9, and looks like Fanflo attempted to attack Luke to get P6, but Luke keeps him back, and now looks like Beatnik has now fallen out of the 1 second, about 1 second behind Scyther. So that grip level, that gap that Beatnik, TB had earlier on has gone away. And Jacob, by the way, had things go really wrong earlier on. He's sitting in 13th right now. And it looks like we had trouble. And that's Cryptic around in turn 5.
Yeah.
Cryptic goes for a spin in turn 5.
Yeah, that's not very good for him. The Chiller joins the 3-second group now.
Yes, he has. Well, currently, the closest fights that we see, there's still a 3-way fight all the way back in 14s between Marco, Corey, and Kieran. Other than that, the other closest one is TB against Scythers. He's trying to slowly gain that grip, that ground back, but fortunately, some corners he does gain ground, other corners he can't seem to gain in.
Yeah, TB definitely has the straight line speed compared to Cypher, but Cypher's a lot better through the corners, as we have a yellow flag. I don't know if he's that soft. I think it just randomly came out. But yeah, Cypher's slower on the straights, but they're in the corners, which around here, and especially in the wet, you need. So unless TB actually gets past Cypher, Cypher will always be ahead, unless he makes a massive mistake. But Florian gets another 3-second time penalty, and that will drop him down to P8 if the race goes how it is. Yeah.
So by looks of it, the yellow flag was for Boss Cookie. He had an issue in turns 7 and 8. That's why we had the yellow flag, because he was going slow in there. Because he was he was about a second or two behind Reese. But now that gap has gone to over 8 seconds, as Red Fire is looking to sneak a peek on Fanflow to try to go into 7th place. Now Red Fire is looking to have a little bit of a talking to after his incident with the Chiller in the sprint race. We'll see if he'll be able to keep his composure held for the main race. The Chiller, by the way, despite being in the penalty club in 9th, he's actually had a decent recovery so far in the main race. He did have the incident with Red Fire, as I said in the sprint race, and then had an incident with Alex Fox in the main race, as Red Fire sends a shot down the inside against Fanflow, and Red Fire is now up into 7th place. So Alpine, at the moment, looking at 14 points in their Constructors bid.
Yeah, the Constructors is very interesting at the moment. If you'd want to tell them what the current points are for the Constructors, Layton.
I'm actually pulling that up now, so looking at everyone's Constructors, like I said, Ferrari, right, and this is after Silverstone's, Ferrari 301, Red Bull in second with 262, then there's a big gap with Mercedes sitting in third with 158, Alpine in 4 with 118, McLaren in 5th with 62, AlphaTauri with 53, Alfa Romeo with 40, Haas is in 8th with 15, Aston Martin in 9th with 10, and Williams is bringing up the rear with only 1 point. And that 1 point that Williams had was done by Today Tommy in Miami six rounds ago.
Yeah, the Williams isn't always the best of cars, which is a shame. But yeah, very interesting here, as Cypher's actually pulling away from TB. It looks like TB may be struggling, and it looks like Reese is having a lonely race in P3. As Florian is still on the back of Red Fire Tiger for P7.
TB is actually going to get a little bit of help, as looks like someone's gone around. That's Fanflow that's gone. So Fanflow's missing a wing. So Fanflow went off into the wall in turn 8. He's back into the pit. He's heading back into the pits. So Fanflow was in 8th place. Now he's gonna go out of the points because of that incident that he had. It looks like he is probably going to come out. I think he's going to be behind. Yep, he's going to be behind Cryptic and ahead of Kieran. All the way down in 13th place. So super unfortunate for Fanflow. Sitting well in the top 10. Now it's just all gone awry. And looks like Jacob will be getting himself back into the points, as he is going around and passes Sam Steed. So Jacob, well, he's going to be happy to be back in the points. It is 1 point. It's better than nothing. I do wonder when the rain will be clearing. Clearing up. To see, maybe we might go back to dry conditions for the rest of this race. We don't know.
Yeah, 1 point can mean a lot in the Constructors at the end of the season, as well as the drivers. So, or any points matter. So even though he is low down, he will be happy to score a point.
Absolutely. And one guy we haven't talked much about, Alex Fox, by the way. He's actually playing it safe. He's sitting in 5th place right now. That's going to be 10 points for him. Now, unfortunately, he was looking at some decent points in the sprint race until he spun out. So that spun out during the midpoint of the race. Now he is sitting in 5th, and well, I mean, doing pretty good in that 5th place spot. But he could be under review by the stewards if the chiller sends in his incident with him from earlier in the event. Right now, looking at the gaps, there's no prominent battles going on, but that's what you expect. That's what you expect in a inter and wet race. You don't see many fights going on. Right now, Scyther is still leading. He's pretty much led it from the start. He's currently 2.6 seconds clear of TB. Reese is sitting in 3rd with... Is currently sitting in 3rd with only 4.3 seconds behind TB, but he does have that 3-second penalty. Let's just take a look at the penalties right now. So Reese, the Chiller, Kieran, and Tadpole have 3 seconds. Fadflow has 6. And the most time penalties is shared between Corey and Marco with 8. And looking at the biggest movers and shakers, Red Fire is currently the biggest mover. He started 17th in this race. He's up in the 7th. Alex Johnson is right behind, only gaining 9 after starting at 14th, up to 5th. And currently the biggest loser is Corey, who started 7th. He's all the way down in 17th. Looking at the field now, let's see. Cypher, he's on there. Looks like the rain has stopped. Maybe. Nope, it's still going, just little bits of drizzle. But, by looks of it, looking at the leader gap, Corey is a lap down, and Marco is up next to get lapped.
Yeah, the rain has in fact stopped, so we could potentially be going back to dries on lap 29, 30-ish.
Ooh, that was close.
So,
just cut the TV and he just almost spun out.
Alex
has gone in.
He's very, very early for the dries. This could be his race ruined here if he has gone on to the drive. He's gone to the mediums. It's a risk.
An old set of mediums.
It's a risk, and I don't think it's going to pay out for him just because of the fact that the rain's only just stopped and it takes a while for the track to even get anywhere close to dry conditions, and it's so drizzling. I just don't see this working out for him. And it looks like everyone's behind's actually starting to pit. They're going to try and gamble, but I just don't think this is going to work out for him. And yeah, he's just losing time. He's just losing time to Red. And yeah, this is not going to work out. TB actually pits here. And so does Reese. It looks like the track has got slightly dry here, but he's just losing time to Red. So I don't think this is... at the moment, I don't think they're quick enough, but they're definitely close. Maybe a lap or two just away from full.
Just have to wait and see, because Scyther is out there, still on those inters. Cryptic down to Corey Marshall have officially been lapped. Next up to be lapped is going to be Jacob, who is actually trying to reel in Tadpole to once again get back into the points. TB is 23 seconds behind Scyther, and actually Scyther is coming in. Scyther has opted to come in. The question is will he still be ahead once the pit is over? He has come in and is going to be going on to a medium set of tires. TB has opted for a soft set. So this could be interesting to say the least.
They'll keep the lead.
And Scyther's just coming out now. Here comes TB. And that gap is about 3.3 seconds. Separates between Scyther and TB. As Red Fire has come in. And DRS is back available. As Red Fire, he will be coming out. Looks like he's going to come out behind the Chiller to be in 8th place. DRS is back enabled, so we'll have to wait and see on what happens. This is weird. Jacob has opted for hards for this stint.
Yeah, it's a very questionable decision from Jacob, because the guys in front of him are all on softs and medium, so it's going to be questionable what happens, but the Ferrari's overall pace kind of equals the playing field out. The Ferrari's just that OP around the circuit in terms of pace compared to the midfield cars that the hards won't really affect him. As you can see, he is getting on beatnik, so there's definitely a difference. But yeah, the field's just spread out. There's no battles going on, and I think the only closest one is actually Kieran and Tadpole, and Flo and Sam Steve for P12.
Yeah, just catching it now. Fanflo up on the fight against Sam Steed. That's for P12. Scyther is reeling in Kieran to put him back a lap down. Actually, he has put him a lap down. Now it's Tadpole to be next up to be put a lap down. So that'll be slightly interesting to see Scyther lap his boss as Kieran goes for a spin out of the final corner and will fall to dead last of the running cars. Marco is past him. But it looks like the soft tires are not firing for TB, because at one point he was about 2.6 seconds behind Scyther. Now that gap is back to almost over 3.5 seconds. So Scyther's mediums have fired up pretty quick, and TB is just struggling.
Yeah, Kieran's gone for a spin at turn 2. That's just not his day. He'll probably come into a pit in the day of that car as his day's over, and it looks like Luke and Alex are actually fighting for P5 here, and it looks like Luke just gets ahead. Alpine is a very, very strong race car, and Luke is now up into the top 5, and that is good for him.
Absolutely. Boss Cookie originally had the fastest lap, but then Scyther took it back. So Boss Cookie is looking to try to go for a fastest lap, but it's just not going to be able to do it right at this present moment. But Alex Fox has DRS against Luke, as Kieran's back in the pits, and Jacob's trying to get into DRS against Beatnik, and he is in the penalty club, exiting turn 8.
Yeah, that's just going to make his life a lot worse, because now he's got to pull 3 seconds to beat Nick if he wants to get 2 points rather than 1. Yeah, he's gonna have to push a lot more. It looks like Cypher's actually going to go for a fastest lap here, and it's not just the fastest lap; it's a very, very, very quick fastest lap, and he's going to come across the line, and he's going to be a .5, and there we go. So yeah, that's going to be the fastest lap of this race, and that's it. It's done. No one's going to beat that lap. So Scyther pretty much has already confirmed the fastest lap for himself. But there we go. But can Jacob just get ahead of Beatnik and try and pull that gap?
Yeah, he did get a double hint of DRS. Now it wasn't from Beatnik from between turns 1 and 3. Jacob actually got that from Kieran, who was lapped. But then in the second zone, he got it from Beatnik. But he's just trying his best to get it done, as well, Kieran's just having an issue again. This time in turn 8. But we're on board. We're on deck with Beatnik and Jacob. Jacob does have that 3-second penalty, so once he eventually gets clear of Beatnik, he's got to get a hit. He's got to get that 3-second gap.
Yeah, Florian and Cryptica both fighting for P11.
Well, Jacob's gone for a shot on the outside.
Beatnik's actually going to fight this back. And here we
There
go.
he is. He's got DRS. This should be interesting. Jacob going for a switchback. Ooh, little bump.
That's stupid there from Jacob. That is a very stupid move. Yeah, that.
There's a slight contact, but no harm for Beatnik.
No
Jacob
harm,
does
but
get back ahead in turn 6.
yeah, it was a very stupid move from Jacob. Over aggressive, hit Beatnik wide, and just managed to get ahead of him. So yeah, I think that'll be one for the Stewarts. If Beatnik decides to send that in. Yeah, I think Jacob just needs to be a little bit more careful when he overtakes drivers, especially with that overtake.
It did look it did look aggressive. It did look aggressive there, and there was a slight bit of contact, but Beatnik did reclaim position on the exit of that corner, and then Jacob sealed the fate in that corner. But they're still fighting in the turn. This time much better on the exit, as Beatnik and Jacob are still fighting it hard, and Jacob just keeps Beatnik back right at the last point of the last stage of the race. Now Jacob is back ahead, but now Jacob has to pull 3 seconds to Beatnik in order to keep that 9th place.
Yeah, I think Beatnik just wants to try and stay with him here. I don't think he needs to get ahead of him. I don't think Jacob will get that penalty removed, so that'll be him dropping down to P10. But yeah, it's just not Ferrari's day in terms of team points. With them only scoring
just looking
19
at it
points.
unofficially with the main race. As TB's in the penalty club now. But anyways, just taking a look at the main race points itself. Okay, well, actually, no. So, in the sprint, with it set,
Kieran's going around again.
Red Bull gains 7 points on Ferrari, bringing it down to 32. But with this race, let's see, Scyther and Reese are looking at 41 points compared to TB
19.
and Jacob looking at 19. 41 minus 19, that's 22. So unofficially, Red Bull will be within 10 points of Ferrari in the constructors for round 12.
Yeah, big improvements to say there was 58 or 68 behind. So yeah, big improvements as looks like Tadpole's going for a little spin.
No, that's Kieran again. Kieran has spun out yet again. Let's see, where's, okay, there's Scyther now. Looks like he's gonna be catching, Cryptic to take, to put him a lap down, as Kieran has gone into the pits and he's retired. That is our 4th retirement of the Grand Prix. Now, everybody so far in this race has gone into the pits and retired, so we haven't had a safety car so far this race. But anyways, it's probably not going to happen as Scyther is entering the final lap of the event. Now, Cryptic could possibly go a lap down, but I think in Cryptic's case, he wants to make sure that he wants to stay on the lead lap and not go a lap down. But he is in 12th though, so
I don't think he's gonna have a choice here.
no, it's not. But I mean, it's gonna suck for Cryptic because Fanflow is in the penalty club. So unfortunately, with Cryptic now lapped down, Fanflow will keep his P11. Actually, yep. So that is the stint there. So as
I
they
wonder what
come
happened to
out,
Jacob.
I have no idea. He's lost a lot of time to Beatnik. But as he comes out of the final corner, Scyther claims the win in the sprint, and he will do it again in the main race. Scyther wins the Austrian Grand Prix for RPL F1. TB finished second in the sprint and will finish second in the main race. There comes Reese to come across the line, and he will claim 3rd place. So pretty much the top 3 in qualifying finish top 3 together in the sprint, and they stay the same in the main race. Boss Cookie finishes 4th. Luke will come across for 5th. Alex Fox will finish in 6th. Good points haul for him. The Chiller will go in the 7th. Redfire will go in the 8th. Beatnik, after a good crazy fight with Jacob to get himself into for P9, will actually claim it. And Jacob had a malfunction somewhere, but he is going to be finishing in 10th place and will claim the last points position in this event. So that is that there, and Fanflow will come across to finish off the event. Just destroys his car on the way out. So that is going to conclude the race event. That's going to conclude the race event. Let's see. Oh, there it is. So Scyther claims his, for main race wins, this will be his 4th win of the season. Good points for him. And there's the celebration out there. Scyther wins, TB 2nd, Reese 3rd. Good stellar event to say the least for these guys. So to conclude this, as well, my partner just left, but there it is. So Scyther wins, TB 2nd, Reese 3rd, Boss Cookie will be 4, Alex Johnson 6th, Luke 5th, The Chiller 7, Redfire 8th, Beatnik 9, Jacob in 8th. And looking at the points, there it is. The most points done was done by Scyther, 34 points for the weekend. TB 25 points for him. Reese will have 21. And yeah, so 12 drivers gained points for this event. And that is going to conclude the stream for today. So that will conclude the stream for today. So, F2, I do not know what the calendar is going to be, nor do I know what the first round is going to be. But yeah, we don't know what that's going to be, because I don't even know. But I do know is that I will be on commentary for F2 next season, as I have officially retired from RPL racing in F2. Tier 2, now the calendar is not set yet, but we do know that the first round of Tier 2 Season 8 is going to be Australia. Now, I don't know if that will be streamed, but if it is streamed, I may be there to help with it, or someone else may do it. I don't know. But one thing I do know is the next week's event for F1, as the second half of the season for F1 will kick off, and that race is going to be Hungary. We'll be racing around in Budapest. So, from RPL Streams, this is Ty9 will saying good night, and have a good one.